Hey warrior, listen closely. I know that deep exhaustion inside you, that quiet frustration of doing everything right and still feeling stuck. You've read the books, watched the gurus, tried the affirmations, chased motivation like a drug, yet here you are, circling the same doubts, the same excuses, the same invisible wall. You keep asking, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong except your mindset. One person faces loss and collapses. Another faces the same storm and rises. Same event. Different reaction. Why? Because the first obeys emotion, and the second obeys reason. That's the brutal truth. Life doesn't break you. Your own thinking does. And that's exactly why Stoicism exists, not as a theory, but as a weapon in a chaotic world that rewards weakness and noise. Stoicism calls you back to mastery, the ability to rule your own mind when everything else falls apart. That's the starting point of freedom. Not your job, not your relationships. Your mind, fix that, and everything else will align. But before you go any further, understand this. What you're about to hear isn't soft motivation. This isn't about comfort or inspiration. It's about truth, hard, sharp, and non-negotiable. These Stoic principles are not meant to soothe you. They're meant to confront you. They will expose your excuses, challenge your habits, and crush the fragile parts of your ego that keep whispering. Maybe later, if you're still looking for shortcuts. Stop now. This message isn't for you. But if you're done being stuck, if you're done living at the mercy of moods and circumstances, then keep listening. You're exactly where you need to be. Today, you'll learn 10 Stoic laws to regain control of your emotions, discipline, and destiny, each drawn from the minds of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, but reborn for modern chaos. Every rule will demand action, not admiration. Every idea will require proof through your behavior. Ready yourself. This is where change begins. Before we dive into those rules, I want you to make a promise to yourself, not to me, not to the world, to yourself, or promise that you will stop living like a victim of circumstance. Promise that you will stop saying, I can't help it, because you can. The Stoics were not gods. They were ordinary people who decided to master their minds while the rest of the world drowned in emotion. They didn't wait for the world to calm down. They became calm within chaos. That's the power you're about to reclaim. But understand this clearly. This process will hurt. It will strip away your comfort, expose your weakness, and demand every ounce of honesty you've avoided giving yourself. This isn't self-help. This is self-confrontation. You are not here to feel better. You're here to become stronger. So, if you're ready to rebuild yourself from the ground up, if you're ready to think, act, and live like a Stoic, then let's begin. Rule 1. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Every time you say, just 5 more minutes, just 1 more day, or I'll start tomorrow, you surrender a piece of your potential. Weakness doesn't come from failure. It comes from compromise. The moment you start reasoning with your comfort, you lose control of your destiny. Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Yet most people spend their lives arguing with themselves, convincing their minds to delay greatness. Every snooze button, every excuse, every lazy later becomes a silent agreement with mediocrity. You think discipline is about pushing harder? It's not. Discipline is about refusing to negotiate with the part of you that always looks for escape. Comfort will destroy your edge long before failure does. And every time you choose it, you build a habit of surrender. Warriors don't surrender. They rise, tired, angry, unmotivated, but they rise anyway. Stop making deals with your comfort. That small, quiet voice that says, just rest a little longer. That's not self-care. That's self-betrayal disguised as kindness. Every time you let that voice win, you bury the stronger version of yourself a little deeper. You already know what needs to be done. You know what you're avoiding. The only question is whether you'll keep betraying your potential to protect your comfort. The Stoics trained for pain because they knew comfort was a liar. They practiced hardship daily, cold, hunger, fatigue, not because they loved suffering, but because they refused to be ruled by it. Epictetus taught that no man is free unless he masters himself. That mastery begins when you say no to the part of you that wants to stay weak. So, when your alarm goes off, don't debate it. When fear whispers, don't reason with it. Stand up, move forward, choose strength over ease. Because every time you do, weakness dies and your freedom grows. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you hesitate, You train your mind to doubt itself. Every time you delay, you reinforce the belief that comfort is safer than growth. But look around. No one who changed their life did it by choosing comfort. Greatness doesn't bloom in ease. It's forged in discomfort, repetition, and refusal to quit. You want peace? Then stop running from effort. You want confidence? Then stop breaking promises to yourself. You want strength? Then stop feeding weakness. Because every time you choose discipline, even in the smallest way, you're reprogramming your brain to trust you again. That's how warriors are built, not overnight, but moment by moment, decision by decision. So from this day forward, treat your weakness like an enemy. Don't explain to it, don't justify it, don't feed it. Just look it dead in the eye and say, "Not today." Every victory over comfort is a declaration of freedom. Every act of discipline is a step toward becoming who you were meant to be. Rule 2, control your reactions, or they will control you. It's not what happens that destroys your peace. It's how you respond. Two people can face the same insult, the same failure, the same chaos, yet one stays calm while the other falls apart. What separates them isn't luck or personality, it's emotional discipline. The Stoics knew that the mind must be trained like a muscle. Otherwise, it becomes a slave to every feeling, every insult, every small inconvenience. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." That means every emotional storm begins in your interpretation, not in the event itself. Every time you react without thinking, you hand your peace to someone else. You give strangers the power to ruin your day. You let the world dictate your mood. And slowly, you forget how to think clearly, how to stand still, how to respond with strength instead of emotion. But if you can master your reactions, no one can master you. When someone insults you and you explode, they win. When traffic frustrates you and you lose focus, it wins. When life throws chaos at you and you panic, your emotions win. You become predictable, a puppet pulled by invisible strings. But the Stoic understands that true power lies in response, not reaction. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not philosophy, that's psychological warfare. Because once you control your internal state, the world loses its grip on you. So here's your mission. The next time you're triggered, pause, don't speak, don't move. Just breathe and ask yourself, what part of this can I control? Usually, it's only one thing, your behavior. And that's enough. Respond with calm precision, not emotional chaos, because calm is not weakness, it's command. And when you learn to stay composed in chaos, you become untouchable. Emotional control isn't about being cold or detached. It's about being centered. It's about owning your state when everything around you tries to pull you apart. The world is loud, unpredictable, and often unfair, but your reactions are your fortress. Every time you hold your tongue instead of snapping, you're winning. Every time you breathe instead of breaking down, you're sharpening your inner weapon. That's what the Stoics trained for. Composure under fire. You can't silence chaos, but you can silence your participation in it. And when you do, something powerful happens. The things that used to shake you start to lose their grip. The insults fade faster. The problems shrink in size. The triggers lose their poison. Because you've reclaimed what's yours, your peace. So remember this. Your reaction is your responsibility. Don't give it away cheaply. Guard it like a soldier guarding the gates of his mind. Because whoever owns your reaction owns your life. Rule 3, do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. The difference between the person you are and the person you want to become is simple. How many hard things you're willing to do without waiting to feel ready. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when things are easy and disappears when you need it most. The Stoics didn't wait for inspiration, they acted out of duty. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop waiting to be understood or applauded. Just do the work. Your emotions are temporary, but your habits build your fate. The man who acts despite resistance becomes unshakable. The man who waits to feel good stays weak forever. Every morning you wake up and move when you don't want to. You are rewiring your brain for greatness. Every time you confront fear instead of avoiding it, you build armor no one can take from you. That's what real strength feels like, not comfort. But control, most people already know what they need to do. They know they should wake up earlier, stop wasting time, eat better, study harder, speak with courage, cut toxic people, and stay consistent. but knowing is useless without doing. The weak wait for motivation, the strong act through resistance. Stoicism doesn't care how you feel. It only cares how you respond. Every time you push through laziness, fear, or distraction, you're carving discipline into your character. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of your pain doesn't come from the task itself, but from the story you tell yourself before doing it. You've already imagined how hard it will be, so you surrender before even starting. But here's the truth. Your mind exaggerates fear to keep you comfortable. You have to break that illusion through action. Don't wait to feel ready. Move first. Act now. The emotion will follow the motion. That's the Stoic formula for power. The secret is consistency, showing up even when you don't want to. Discipline is not about intensity, it's about reliability. Anyone can grind for a week when they're motivated. Few can stay consistent when it's boring, when it's lonely, when it feels like no one's watching. But that's where transformation happens, in silence, repetition, and persistence. The Stoics didn't chase quick wins, they built daily rituals. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to feel inspired to lead an empire. He followed duty over mood. You must do the same. When your mind screams, "Not today," your answer must be, "Exactly today." That's how you win the invisible battles most people never fight. Because every small act of discipline compounds into unshakable strength. Remember, the goal isn't to feel powerful, it's to become powerful through practice. Pain is temporary, excuses last forever. So train your body, sharpen your mind, and do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. You've got to understand something. The resistance you feel isn't a sign to stop. It's proof you're on the right path. Growth will never feel easy because it's meant to break who you used to be. Every moment of struggle, every day you push when you'd rather quit, is a battlefield where the old you dies and the new you is forged. The Stoics didn't ask for easier lives. They asked for stronger minds. They believed that hardship was the furnace that purifies the soul. So, stop craving comfort, crave challenge. Crave the weight that makes you stronger. Because comfort will never shape you into the person you admire. The things that scare you the most are the exact things that will set you free. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Each act of courage, each disciplined choice, each quiet victory against weakness, that's the real transformation. That's how the Stoic warrior within you is born. Rule 4. Cut the noise and master your focus. The modern world is engineered to steal your attention. Every notification, headline, and dopamine hit is designed to pull you away from what truly matters. And then you wonder why you feel restless, anxious, and lost. You can't fix your life if your mind is scattered across 100 meaningless distractions. Seneca said, "If you are everywhere, you are nowhere." Focus is your greatest weapon, but most people treat it like a toy, easily given away to the next shiny thing. A Stoic understands that clarity and control live in stillness. You must protect your focus like a warrior guards his shield, because without it, you're defenseless. Every scroll, every pointless argument, every wasted hour online weakens your mind. If you can't control your attention, you can't control your destiny. So, cut the noise. Reclaim your mind, choose what deserves your energy, and starve everything else. You must learn to create silence in a world addicted to noise. That's where true power grows, in focused solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." He didn't talk about multitasking. He didn't chase distractions disguised as productivity. He spoke about depth, the ability to give your full attention to one meaningful task at a time. That's how greatness is built. But today, most people can't sit still for 5 minutes without grabbing their phones. They've become addicted to stimulation, not progress. You must rise above that. Train your attention like a soldier trains his weapon, with discipline and intention. Set sacred hours each day where nothing can interrupt you. No messages, no scrolling, no noise. Because if you don't control your environment will control you. Focus is not a talent, it's a decision, and it must be made daily. Focus is a superpower, but it's also a test of self-respect. What you give your attention to reveals what you truly value. Most people say they want success, yet spend their days consuming instead of creating, scrolling instead of studying, escaping instead of evolving. They're not lazy, they're unfocused. The Stoic knows that a distracted mind leads to a diluted life. You cannot hit your target if your eyes keep wandering. So reclaim your time with precision. Turn off the noise, Limit the digital junk that poisons your clarity. Protect your mornings. They set the tone for your mind. Work deeply, rest intentionally, and live deliberately. Remember, your attention is your currency, and every wasted minute is a transaction you can never reverse. Feed what builds you, starve what drains you. Because the person who controls their focus controls their fate. The world is full of noise, but you, warrior, must remain still and sharp within it. Rule 5, stop seeking approval. You don't need permission to rise. You don't need validation to move forward. The need for approval is one of the deepest chains that keeps people stuck. Marcus Aurelius said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." That's the paradox of modern weakness. People say they want freedom, yet they live enslaved to perception. You hesitate to start. You hide your dreams. You shrink your voice. Not because you're incapable, but because you're terrified of judgment. But here's the truth. The world doesn't care about your potential. It only respects what you build. The moment you stop chasing validation, you become unstoppable. The Stoics didn't live for applause. They lived for alignment, for virtue, discipline, and truth. Approval is temporary. Integrity is permanent. Every time you look for permission, you hand your power to someone who hasn't earned it. Take it back. Move forward without asking. The world will never clap loud enough to make you believe in yourself. And the more you grow, the quieter that applause becomes. Because real progress threatens people who refuse to change. When you start leveling up, you'll notice something. Some people will pull away, mock you, or question your motives. They'll call your discipline obsession, your focus arrogance, and your peace distance. But understand this, their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your improvement exposes what they have avoided in themselves. Let them talk. You don't owe anyone an explanation for becoming stronger. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That's not humiliation, that's liberation. The moment you stop fearing how others perceive you, you begin to live authentically. The world rewards those who dare to be misunderstood. You don't need their approval to grow. You need courage to outgrow their limits. Walk alone if you must. That's where the strong are forged. Stop explaining yourself to people who have never earned the right to understand you. You don't need to justify your silence, your boundaries, or your ambition. The ones who mock your discipline are secretly ashamed of their own weakness. The moment you stop needing their applause, you gain something far more valuable: peace. The Stoic doesn't crave attention. He commands respect through consistency. You must remember, the crowd always follows the loudest noise, but the wise move in quiet purpose. So let others gossip, compare, and compete for validation. You stay focused on building something eternal: your character, your mastery, your destiny. Approval is a trap disguised as encouragement. It teaches you to chase instead of create. So stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Stop waiting to be understood. Understand yourself. The path of self-mastery is not crowded because it demands solitude. But solitude isn't loneliness, it's freedom. And freedom is where greatness begins. Stop waiting for people to validate your worth. Stop hesitating because someone might not like your transformation. The truth is, most people are too busy judging themselves to genuinely support your growth. So, why keep performing for an audience that doesn't even understand your mission? A Stoic doesn't need applause, he needs purpose. When you act from alignment, when your values guide your choices, external noise becomes irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Don't live by opinions. Live by principles. The moment you stop chasing recognition and start respecting your own path, you become dangerous because you can no longer be manipulated by praise or destroyed by criticism. That's real freedom, when your peace can't be bought or broken. Seek respect from your soul, not the crowd. Rule 6, silence is power. Speak less, master more. We live in an age where everyone wants to be heard, but few have anything worth saying. People mistake noise for strength and attention for influence. But the Stoics knew the opposite was true. The quieter the mind, the sharper the sword. Epictetus said, "Let silence be your general rule," or say only what is necessary and in few words. That's not just etiquette, it's strategy. The one who controls his tongue controls his energy. The more you talk, the more power you leak. The more you explain, the more control you give away. Silence isn't weakness, it's precision. A wise man doesn't argue, He observes. He doesn't react to insults. He studies them. He doesn't boast of plans. He executes them in silence. Because the louder you are, the easier you are to read. And the easier you are to read, the easier you are to control. Silence builds strength because it forces you to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. Most people speak to escape their own thoughts. They fill silence with noise because they fear what they'll hear in the quiet. But the Stoic embraces that stillness. He knows wisdom is born in reflection, not reaction. When you speak less, your words gain weight. People start to notice your presence instead of your volume. They lean in, not because you demand attention, but because you command it through restraint. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. That includes the opinions of others and the urge to defend yourself. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to announce your moves. Real power moves quietly. While others talk about their goals, you build them. Let your actions become your statement. Let your silence become your strategy. Silence protects what words often destroy: your focus, your dignity, your mystery. The person who overshares exposes their weaknesses before the battle even begins." The Stoic knows this. He keeps his thoughts guarded, his emotions disciplined, and his intentions private. That's how you stay unpredictable in a world addicted to transparency. Not everything needs to be posted, explained, or justified. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them misread your calm for indifference. That's power, because silence creates space. And in that space, you observe everything. You see who's genuine and who's pretending. You see who speaks truth and who hides behind noise. Control your tongue, and you control your life. When you stop reacting to every insult, defending every choice, and explaining every move, you become untouchable. You waste no energy proving your worth. You prove it through consistency, not conversation. Speak less. Move wisely. Let your results echo louder than your words ever could. To master silence, you must first master your ego. The ego craves recognition. It wants to be right, to be seen, to be heard. But the Stoic knows that ego is the enemy of growth. Every time you rush to prove a point, you trade power for validation. The truly strong don't need to shout. Their composure speaks for them. When you respond less, you conserve energy for what matters: action, strategy, and purpose. Silence doesn't mean passivity. It means precision. It means knowing when to speak and when to wait. It means choosing words that hit like arrows, not noise that vanishes like smoke. When you learn to stay calm while others lose control, you become the anchor in every storm. Remember, silence isn't emptiness, it's control. It's the pause before the strike, the breath before the decision, the patience before the victory. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay dangerous. That's Stoic communication. Deliberate, calm, lethal. Rule 7. Own your mistakes without shame or excuses. Everyone fails, everyone falls short. What separates the strong from the broken is what they do after the fall. Most people spend their lives hiding from their mistakes, blaming others, rewriting history, pretending they've moved on. But the Stoic faces the truth head on. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your mistakes are not your enemies. They are your teachers. Every failure carries a lesson that comfort will never reveal. But you can't learn from what you refuse to face. Stop lying to yourself about what went wrong. Stop defending the choices that betrayed your values. Stop pretending you don't care. The moment you take ownership, real, raw, unapologetic ownership, you reclaim control. You can't fix what you won't confront. Growth begins the second you stop saying, "It wasn't my fault," and start saying, "It was, and I'm changing it." Owning your mistakes doesn't mean drowning in guilt. It means standing tall in truth. Guilt keeps you chained to the past. Responsibility sets you free from it. The weak hide behind excuses, but the strong use failure as fuel. Epictetus taught that what harms you isn't the event itself, but how you choose to interpret it. Your past isn't a curse, it's a mirror. Look into it without flinching. Ask yourself, what patterns did I repeat? What lessons did I ignore? What truths did I avoid? Then use those answers as weapons to rebuild. Shame keeps you stuck, but ownership creates transformation. The Stoic doesn't say, "Why did this happen to me?" He asks, "What can I learn from this?" Because every mistake, no matter how painful, contains a lesson meant to shape your character. Don't waste it by pretending you're perfect. Use it to become indestructible. Mistakes don't define you. Denial does. When you take full ownership of your life, something powerful happens. Shame loses its grip. You stop running from the past and start using it as fuel. Every scar becomes a story of survival. Every regret becomes a reminder of what you refuse to repeat. The Stoics believe that truth is purification, that facing yourself without illusion is the highest form of strength. So be brutally honest, admit what you did wrong, admit how you failed yourself. But don't stop there. Rise. The goal isn't to stay trapped in remorse, it's to rebuild with wisdom. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance. Wisdom is born through pain, reflection, and correction. So if you've fallen, good. That means you've been tested. Now get up stronger, clearer, more aware. No more denial, no more excuses. Stand in your truth and own every part of it, because that's where redemption begins and self-respect returns." The Stoic doesn't hide his flaws. He studies them like a warrior studies the battlefield. He doesn't wallow in mistakes. He dissects them, learns from them, and turns them into discipline. That's what separates the broken from the unbreakable. You can't evolve by protecting your pride. You evolve by confronting it. Most people fear accountability because it exposes their weakness. But avoidance is a silent poison. It keeps you small. Radical ownership, on the other hand, makes you powerful because it removes the need to pretend. You can't be manipulated by what you've already accepted. When you own your flaws, you disarm them. They no longer control you. They instruct you. Every moment of accountability becomes armor for the future. So, stop trying to look perfect. Look real. Perfection inspires envy. Honesty inspires growth. The day you stop running from your truth is the day you start walking in power. Rule 8, discomfort is your teacher. Stop running from it. Every human instinct tells you to escape pain, to run from fear, to seek comfort. But comfort is the silent killer of greatness. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome them in whichever way they happen." This is the path to peace. The Stoic doesn't beg for ease. He trains for endurance. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your trainer. It sharpens the edges of your soul and reveals who you truly are when the mask of comfort is stripped away. Every hardship is a test of your inner structure. The more you resist it, the weaker you become. The more you face it, the stronger you grow. Stop asking for life to be easier. Ask to be better equipped. Because comfort might feel safe now, but it's slowly killing your courage. Growth begins where your comfort zone ends, and never before. Pain is not punishment, it's instruction. Every struggle you face is trying to teach you something essential about your strength, patience, or focus, but most people are too busy escaping discomfort to understand its message. They numb themselves with entertainment, food, distractions, and denial, anything to avoid the silence that forces them to feel. The Stoic does the opposite. He leans into the discomfort. He asks, "What is this moment demanding from me?" That's where transformation begins. Not in ease, but in endurance. Marcus Aurelius endured war, betrayal, loss, and disease. Yet he wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it." Stop complaining. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. You're not supposed to be comfortable all the time. Growth and comfort can't coexist. Every time you resist pain, you resist progress. The warrior doesn't seek suffering, but he welcomes it when it comes, because he knows that struggle is the price of strength. Discomfort exposes truth. It shows you exactly where you're weak, undisciplined, or afraid. Most people run from it, which is why they stay the same year after year. But the Stoic uses discomfort like a mirror. When something hurts, he doesn't hide. He asks, "What is this revealing about me?" That question is where transformation begins. The pain you avoid holds the lesson you need most. You want mental toughness. Sit with boredom without reaching for distraction. You want emotional strength. Face your loneliness without begging for validation. You want clarity. Be still in uncertainty until your mind stops panicking. Every uncomfortable feeling is an invitation to grow. Stop rejecting the lessons life sends you because they don't come wrapped in comfort. Every hardship is a teacher in disguise. And if you can learn to endure without resentment, you'll unlock a calm that no chaos can touch. Pain refines you if you let it. Most people pray for comfort, but warriors pray for strength. Because comfort never built a single great soul. Every strong person you admire has walked through storms. Most would never survive. Their peace was earned through pain. Their clarity was born in chaos. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why me?" He asks, "Why not me?" He welcomes the test because he knows that life's trials are not punishments. They are opportunities to prove his character. The obstacle becomes the training ground. The pain becomes the path. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind. As labor does the body, that's the code you must live by. You don't grow by escaping struggle. You grow by mastering it. So, the next time life hits you hard, stop running. Plant your feet, breathe, and remind yourself, this is not the end. This is initiation. Pain will shape you, but only if you let it finish its work." Rule 9, discipline is greater than motivation. Build it daily. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the spark dies. Everyone feels inspired for a moment, after a speech, a quote, a video, but that feeling fades. Discipline doesn't fade. It stays, even when you're exhausted, uninspired, and alone. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like. It's having the strength to do what must be done. Regardless of how you feel, motivation depends on emotion. Discipline depends on decision. The Stoic wakes up and acts not because he feels like it, but because duty calls. That's the difference between amateurs and warriors. Amateurs chase moods. Warriors follow principles. Every time you show up without inspiration, you are building mental armor. Discipline is repetition. Repetition becomes character. And character, not comfort, is what creates freedom. Motivation whispers. Maybe tomorrow, discipline growls. Now, the weak wait for the right feeling. The strong create it through action. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to be motivated to lead his empire. He acted from duty, not desire. That's the mindset you must adopt. Discipline is not glamorous. It's quiet, consistent, repetitive, but it's also unstoppable. Every day you wake up and honor your responsibilities. Even when no one's watching, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted. That's what discipline gives you, self-respect. The world is full of people chasing short bursts of inspiration, but very few who have the courage to grind in silence. Discipline is the bridge between your potential and your reality. It doesn't ask for your feelings. It demands your loyalty. Show up tired, show up unmotivated, show up anyway. Because the moment you stop negotiating with your emotions, you become unstoppable. Discipline is the purest form of self-love. It's saying, I refuse to let my emotions decide my future. Every time you act out of discipline instead of impulse, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, and that trust builds unshakable confidence. Most people crave motivation because they've never tasted the quiet satisfaction of discipline. They don't understand how good it feels to do what's necessary, even when no one's watching. The Stoic doesn't chase highs, he builds habits. He knows that freedom is found in structure, not in chaos. The one who masters his routine masters his destiny. So, build daily rituals that serve your highest self. Wake early. Move your body. Study deeply. Reflect honestly. Repeat relentlessly. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Discipline doesn't require applause. It requires commitment. And when it becomes your default, you won't need motivation ever again, because you'll have something far stronger. Mastery. Motivation fades in hours. Discipline lasts a lifetime. When you train your mind to act despite emotion, you create stability in an unstable world. That's what separates the Stoic from the ordinary. He doesn't wait for ideal conditions. He creates progress through consistency. Every repetition, every sacrifice, every quiet decision to do the work rewires your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who executes. Marcus Aurelius didn't have time to wonder if he felt ready. He had duties to fulfill. And so do you. You have responsibilities that demand discipline, not excuses. When you live this way, your power grows silently. People will wonder how you stay so calm under pressure, how you keep moving when others quit. The answer is simple. You built a system stronger than your emotions. That's what Stoic discipline is, the daily practice of freedom. You don't wait for the feeling, you create it through action. Discipline gives your life structure, and structure gives your mind peace. Without it, chaos rules you. Most people think freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want, but that's slavery to impulse. Real freedom is doing what's right, even when it's hard. The Stoics understood that discipline was not punishment. It was liberation from weakness. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you prove that you are stronger than your excuses. Every skipped temptation, every finished task, every hour used with intention, these are victories that shape your destiny. You don't rise because of what you feel. You rise because of what you repeat. Discipline is the quiet contract you make with yourself to never give up. No matter how you feel, keep it, and life bends in your favor. Break it, and everything unravels. You want peace. Earn it through discipline. You want strength. Build it through repetition. Rule 10. Stop living in your head. Live in alignment with your actions. Most people live two lives, the one they imagine and the one they actually live. In their minds, they are wise, disciplined, courageous. But in reality, their actions betray those ideals. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's the essence of Stoicism. Less talk, more embodiment. You can read every quote, study every philosophy, and still remain weak if your actions don't align with your words. The Stoic doesn't perform. He practices. He doesn't post wisdom. He lives it. You say you want peace, but you gossip. You say you want focus, but you scroll. You say you want growth, but you procrastinate. Alignment is the gap between what you claim and what you do, and that gap is where misery lives. The solution? Close it with consistency. Live what you preach. Be who you say you are. Stop pretending and start proving. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your execution. The Stoic knows that thoughts are cheap, but action is sacred. Philosophy means nothing if it doesn't shape your behavior. You can't think your way into strength. You have to act your way into it. Every time your actions contradict your words, you weaken your identity. You confuse your spirit. You lose trust in yourself. But when what you do and what you believe finally align, something powerful happens. You find peace. Because peace doesn't come from perfection. It comes from integrity. You stop needing to perform for the world because your life itself becomes your statement. Stop overthinking. Start doing. If you say you value discipline, then prove it with routine. If you say you value honesty, then practice it when it's inconvenient. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. That's what separates the Stoic from the talker. When your actions and your values align, you no longer need validation. You have peace. That's the essence of Stoic living. The Stoic doesn't seek to appear wise. He seeks to live wisely. Every choice, every word, every habit becomes a reflection of his principles. You want to know what you truly believe? Look at your behavior. Beliefs are revealed through action, not intention. So, if you say you want growth, but choose distraction, you value comfort more than progress. If you say you want clarity, but drown yourself in noise, you value stimulation more than peace. Stop lying to yourself. Your life is a mirror, and it's showing you exactly who you are right now. But that's the good news. It can change today. One aligned action at a time. Don't wait for a new mindset. Build it through movement. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Execute what you already know. Action is alignment made visible. When you live in alignment, your confidence stops depending on results. It comes from integrity. You don't need to prove anything because you already know you're living truthfully. Marcus Aurelius never spoke about becoming ideal. He simply practiced being one. That's the Stoic way. Daily embodiment, not daily explanation. You'll notice something powerful when you begin living like this. The noise fades, regret fades, confusion fades. Why? Because inner chaos cannot survive when your actions match your values. Every time you choose alignment over impulse, your mind becomes quieter and your direction clearer. You stop asking, "Am I doing enough?" and start knowing, "I'm doing what's right." That is freedom, not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to act with purpose, discipline, and calm certainty. Let your days reflect your philosophy. Let your behavior become your belief system. Because truth isn't what you say, it's what you repeatedly do. You can talk about discipline forever, but until you live it, it's nothing but noise. The Stoics despised hypocrisy, words without action, wisdom without embodiment. They believed that philosophy should be lived, not lectured. The true Stoic doesn't chase the image of greatness. He builds it through behavior. You can't call yourself disciplined if your habits prove otherwise. You can't claim strength while avoiding challenge. You can't speak of peace while stirring chaos with your own hands. So stop reciting quotes you don't apply. Stop hiding behind potential. You already know what must be done. Now do it. Every moment you choose action over avoidance, you become more aligned with truth. Every decision that matches your principles builds inner unity. The goal isn't perfection, it's integrity. When your inner world and outer actions finally agree, you'll stop chasing meaning and start living it. Consistency is your loudest form of wisdom. Alignment turns chaos into clarity. When your behavior reflects your beliefs, life stops feeling like a fight. It becomes a flow. You wake up knowing what matters. You move with purpose, and you rest with peace. That's the power of integrity. You don't need to prove your worth when your actions already prove your commitment. Marcus Aurelius didn't speak about virtue. He lived it daily. Through discipline, restraint, and service, you must do the same. Your consistency will become your philosophy. Every morning, you choose discipline over comfort, silence over argument, truth over ego. You are living Stoicism. The goal isn't to talk like a philosopher. It's to move like one, think like one, respond like one. Because the greatest wisdom isn't found in words, it's found in conduct. Let your calm be louder than their chaos. Let your discipline be your legacy. Let your life itself become the sermon. Now you've heard the 10 brutal Stoic rules, not motivational fluff, but timeless laws forged in fire and proven through centuries. These rules aren't meant to comfort you. They're meant to awaken you. If you live them, they will rebuild you, piece by piece, habit by habit, decision by decision. You'll stop being a slave to emotions, excuses, and the approval of others. You'll become centered, grounded, and unshakable. Remember, the Stoics didn't preach perfection. They practiced progress. Every rule connects to the next. Discipline fuels control. Control builds peace. Peace unlocks focus. And focus leads to freedom. This is how you reclaim your mind, your confidence, your life. So don't just nod and move on. Choose one rule. Apply it today, then another tomorrow. Consistency will carve transformation. The blueprint has been given. The rest is your duty. This is your moment. Warrior, the words mean nothing unless you live them. The Stoics left the blueprint. Now it's your turn to build the structure. Don't just finish this message and drift back to comfort. Act. Choose one rule today. Maybe discipline. Maybe silence. Maybe ownership, and live it fully. Do it until it becomes who you are. Then move to the next. Slowly, steadily, you'll rebuild your mind, your habits, and your peace. Say this aloud and mean it. I fix my mind. I fix my life. That's your declaration, your contract with yourself. The world doesn't owe you transformation. It only gives you time. What you do with that time determines everything. So rise, focus, execute it. Leave behind the old version of you who hesitated. This is where your evolution begins. You don't need permission, only action. Let this be the day you stop thinking and start becoming. Warrior, if this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't just close this video and move on with life as usual. Do something about it. Change doesn't happen through watching. It happens through action. Take one truth from this video and live it today. No waiting. No hesitation. Your future self is watching what you do next. Make them proud. If you're ready to rise above comfort, to rebuild your discipline, to take full control of your emotions and your destiny, then start now. Leave a comment below with the words, I choose growth. Let the world know that you're not just listening, you're transforming. Share this video with someone who needs that same fire lit inside them. And remember, every small act of strength, every moment of self-control, every choice to stay focused is shaping the new you. Thanks for watching. Warrior, this is Momentum Mindset, where action begins and excuses end.